Hey everybody, this is Kelly of Rojo Chief Clothing, and as you see right here, this is my Instagram, and I'm going to click on my link tree. That's going to send you to all of my links: Anchor.fm, the YouTube channel that you already know about, my online clothing store, and my Facebook page, so you can follow me. Alright, so Anchor.fm, that's my podcast. So stories or news that I'm not going to post on YouTube, you can find them on my podcast, and you can listen to them on Spotify and also on Breaker and other, podcasts. Okay. Then, as you may or may not know, this is my online clothing store where you can find fashions on here for men, women, kids, and babies. So, let's get ready for the show.
There's been talk, Ms. Van's testimony talked about a CRS report. There's been talk among staffers about a GAO report, and just cards on the table as I'm thinking about the path forward. That strikes me as an important first step, just to sort of set a baseline of how each of the five are in a different situation, both in terms of their treaty obligations, but also their current view of the issue and where they may or may not be in pending litigation. But also some baseline data about how many people are we talking about, right? What percentage of the current roles would this constitute? What kind of resource requirements would that implicate? And so I'm wondering what your thoughts are about a GAO report to try to get a level set here about the history, the legal aspects, the mechanics of conducting a role. I know something about this from the Native Hawaiian community, the blood quantum questions, the lineal descendancy, they're not so easy to settle. And so even before you get to the potential for public policy in this space, you need to know what the facts are. And so I'm wondering what you think about that.
As you notice, the chairman has said that the Native Hawaiians, it's hard for them to prove who they are by lineal descent. And for us, they made it hard for our ancestors to prove who they were because they reclassified us. Then they had allowed pure-blooded European males to go ahead and to claim to be of Indian ancestry when in fact they were not. And then my second point is, then what type of documentation do they have in order to prove that they are the descendants of the slaveholders that was in the Indian Territory? Especially knowing the fact that the slave owners were free Negroes during the time of slavery, a lot of them. Okay? And you probably had some people that were Caucasian that were slave owners, either black Europeans or white Europeans, and then some African people as well. So I feel like the things that these people are saying, they will really be hard pressed in order to say that the freedmen are, without a shadow of a doubt, descendants of African slaves. And the thing of it is that I would want to see, the genealogy, the proof of their genealogy, that their ancestors were here and were indeed, slaveholders during that time period that they're claiming that they had slaves and that they freed their slaves and brought them all the way to Oklahoma. It just sounds, really ridiculous. Like, Lisa Cypress said that most of the people that had the slaves were Negroes. And as we can tell, those people who's claiming to be Indians, they look either Caucasian or either they look Asiatic or, basically Eurasian. So things are not adding up. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. And they do not have good receipts, not at all. And then another thing is this whole thing about blood quantum. Now, I feel like that should be struck down completely because that's not even in the language of the treaties. So how can you use something that has nothing to do with the treaties at all? And then also, if they were slave owners, they would have to have had a license in order for them to have owned African slaves. So where are their receipts on that? It's just so many different questions that the freedmen should have brought up. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell.